Omaha, Neb. On a Saturday afternoon in late February, Kansas ventured into a 15,000-seat arena in northwest Texas to face a rugged defensive outfit with a perfect home record. It was a daunting proposition for the Jayhawks, but they wound up doing what they tend to do at that time of year, edging Texas Tech 74-72 to gain a two-game lead in the Big 12 and clinch at least a share of their 14th consecutive conference championship, which snapped the record set by UCLA from 1967-79. This streak is a staggering accomplishment whose difficulty will come into sharper focus after it draws to a close, as more and more high major programs try, and inevitably fail, to eclipse it. Yet as Kansas has gone about setting and maintaining an impossibly high standard for success in the regular season, Bill Self has won over 82% of his games as Jayhawks head coach and entered the Hall of Fame last fall. It often has come up short in the month that follows. More specifically, under Self, Kansas has had an especially difficult time winning in the Elite Eight. The last two seasons, Kansas has fallen in the regional finals to no. 2-seed Villanova and no. 3-seed Oregon, respectively. If they cannot beat no. 2-seed Duke at the CenturyLink Center here on Sunday evening, the Jayhawks' Elite Eight record under Self will fall to 2-6. Taking into account his previous stints at Tulsa and Illinois, Self himself will have posted a 2-8 mark. Prior to this season, 7 Jayhawks teams had earned a no. 1 seed since Self took over at Kansas in 2003. 4 bowed out in the regional finals. 1 was bounced in the regional semifinals, 2013, and another was Ali Farakh in the second round, 2010, but for the most part, Self's teams have fared well before and after the Elite Eight. They hold an 8-2 record in the Sweet 16 and moved on to the national title game both times they reached the Final Four. That record is grounds for a sound rebuttal to anyone looking to brand Self a bad NCAA tournament coach, though there's no denying the Elite Eight is a big blotch on his resplendent 15 seasons and counting tenure in Lawrence. After Kansas held off no. 5-seed Clemson 80-76 on Friday night, Self made plain that at a blue blood program with a roster of former head coaches that includes the man who invented this sport, the bar for success in March is not being lowered, no matter how many wins are recorded from November through February. It's been a great year, Self said. I mean, this team, to win 30 games and win the league in the league tournament, and play in the biggest game of the year so far on Sunday. It's been great, but it would be nice to make it special. And I think, in order to do that, at Kansas, you've got to go to a Final Four. I honestly believe that. I've always thought that. There were long stretches during the regular season when it didn't seem possible that these Jayhawks would even put themselves in position to add another data point to the program's Elite Eight track record. Kansas had to replace 3 starters from a team that won 31 games and finished 6th in Ken Pomeroy's adjusted efficiency margin, including National Player of the Year sweeping guard Frank Mason and no. 4 draft pick Josh Jackson. Then the Jayhawks' top recruit for 2017-18, 5-star power forward Billy Preston, spent the first couple of months of the season sitting in eligibility limbo before signing with a professional team in Bosnia and Herzegovina in January. In the span of a month, Kansas dropped a pair of home games to Arizona State and Texas Tech, in addition to a not actually neutral site loss to Washington and Kansas City. After a 1-2 stretch in early February that included a home defeat at the hands of Oklahoma State, marking the first time under Self in which the Jayhawks had fallen at least 3 times at home in a single season, and a loss at Baylor that snapped an 11-game winning streak against the Bears, it seemed possible, if not probable, that the streak was on its last legs. Instead, Kansas turned around and ripped off 5 straight wins, locked up a no. 1 seed and rolled into the NCAA's fresh off hoisting its second Big 12 tournament crown in 3 years. The next part, getting to the Final Four, and thus crossing what Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski said Saturday is the biggest bridge that you can cross, promises to be more difficult. Kansas employs a small lineup in which 2 guards, 6 feet 2 inches senior Devontae Graham, 6 feet 3 inches redshirt sophomore Malik Newman, and 2 wings, 6 feet 5 inches junior LeGerald Vick, 6 feet 8 inches senior Sviatoslav Mikhailiuk, surround sophomore big man Udoka Azubuike, who's been nursing a left knee injury but put in an encouraging 25 minutes of work against no. 5-seed Clemson on Friday. The Jayhawks are the top defensive team left in the field not named Duke or Villanova. They bury opponents in a barrage of 3-point shots, ranking 5th in the country in effective field goal percentage, which adjusts for the added value of threes, and 41% of their field goal attempts come from behind the arc. Inside, they have Azubike, a 7-foot, 280-pound bulldozer and productive close-range scorer who leads Division I in two-point field goal percentage, 77.5. They're a tough team offensively to stop. Krzyzewski said of Kansas, which ranks 5th nationally in Ken Pomeroy's adjusted offensive efficiency metric and is less than a day removed from hanging 80 points in 72 possessions against a Clemson squad with the nation's No. 7 defense. With the 4 perimeter players that they have, they put a lot of pressure on you as soon as they get a defensive rebound. They have a high-powered offense, freshman guard Gary Trent Jr. said. Their guards can shoot the heck out of the ball, and they have a big man down low that's good, and they have big men that can come off the bench and do work as well. Kansas's potent, floor-spreading attack reigned in the Big 12, but Duke is particularly equipped to pounce on the Jayhawks' most glaring weakness. Kansas is thin up front, even with Azubike healthy, and it allows opponents to grab